Hi guys, Jason Myers here, participating in the HORRORman's slashback challenge series, week 5, sporty slashers. Hoping everyone's having a great Saturday. I chose as my sporty slasher Wes Craven's Shocker. This movie is made in 1989. Gonna have its 30th birthday. Can you believe this movie's 30 years old already? God, talk about a little bit of nostalgia for me. I remember when this came out, I was about 9 years old when I was first getting into horror movies. I remember waiting for this to come out on VHS, going to Blockbuster, just not knowing the release dates, knowing about this movie because this had a wide release and being really excited right around the time like Halloween 5 came out. I remember this coming out and seeing it, and this one actually really scaring me. This movie is pretty awesome. It's kind of a tale of two halves. The first half of this movie is plays it straight, very kind of standard slasher, and the second half is kind of a invasion of the body snatcher type killer going on. But Horse Pinker, who the killer played by Mitch Pileggi, I'm not sure if I'm butchering that. He's very underrated, one of the most underrated killers I've seen in all slasher movies. Nobody really ever talks about him too much, and I think he's really awesome. It's kind of like I felt like Wes Craven was trying to make another Freddy type franchise with him. This didn't really do as good in the box office as he might have thought. I looked at the numbers. I think it was made for about $5 million and drew like 16 million. So I don't think that's really terrible, but it is what it is. Another thing I read about this movie is that in the late 80s, these movies really got butchered by the MPAA. I think it got pushed back 13 times and took a lot of its the guts from the movie. I was reading about some of the stuff that Wes Craven had to take out, and I wish that those scenes were still in this movie. But it doesn't matter. This movie is just really fun to watch. I've always liked the movie. Certain things about it. What I really like about Horse Pinker is his limp. The limp is awesome. The way he talks about the limp, how he gets the limp, when he jumps into other bodies, especially like the little girl, and she's got the limp. It's just awesome. His one-liners are cool, very Freddy Krueger-y, but not super cheesy like Freddy Krueger in Part 3 and Dream Master Part 4. Very similar to that tone. But I really like this movie. Some of the other stuff that I read about this, and I think it's very accurate, that this movie is actually a little smarter than it lets out. It's kind of like that this movie, in the first beginning of this movie, if you really watch it, it's kind of starts like a Nightmare on Elm Street. It's got this really cool kind of hair band heavy metal theme song in the beginning. The music's really awesome, and then as the movie progresses, it kind of gets cheesier and cheesier, kind of like horror franchises start. If you look at like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, it starts out the series itself starts out really scary, or tries to be really scary, very serious. And then as the series progresses, the movie gets crazier and cheesier. This movie's kind of like that. A lot of people say Wes Craven was kind of giving an FU to the Nightmare on Elm Street series with this movie by kind of doing 1 through 5 kind of, with where it starts really serious and just gets cheesier throughout the movie. But why it's a sporty slasher is because the main star, Jonathan Parker, hits his head on the goalpost and could see what Horace Pinker's doing, kind of like dream sense, and sees his murders, which is pretty awesome. And their duel is really cool. I like the end. I like the music. I like the atmosphere. I like the coloring in this movie. And rewatching this movie now on like a 4K TV, this movie is just aging really well. If you ask me, in my opinion, really really awesome movie. Most people have seen this, but I think a lot of people forget that it does have that sporty theme because the main star, our final boy, kind of is a football star. Jonathan Parker, he's a receiver. Hits his head on that goalpost. So the whole plot of the movie kind of goes off that him hitting his head on that goalpost. What else could I say about this movie? Oh, look for a little role from Heather Langenkamp, Nightmare on Elm Street favorite in here. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. I believe it's Wes Craven's most underrated film is Shocker. I have it placed right under People Under the Stairs, I believe, in my, like, if I were counting down Wes Craven movies. But I do dig this movie. So if you haven't checked this out, this is 1989's Shocker.